Will it run? We got a 2002 BMW 330i 4-door. Thing hasn't been running since 2018, so it's been sitting for 4 years with a dead battery. Previous owner said that he saw the gauge cluster showing that it was overheating, parked it, let it cool down, drove it back. Gauge cluster was acting up, has a pretty severe oil leak from what he said, so just sat parked. Paint's real clean. Interior, we got nice leather 4-door, 5-speed manual trans. Last time I was registered, it said 120,000 on the odometer, so relatively lower mileage vehicle. Back seat's pretty clean. It's got a little bit of sun damage on the rear seat, as well as the parcel shelf being a little faded, but no big deal. Can't complain for the price. So today we're going to be checking the fluids, putting a fresh H7 battery in it, seeing if this thing cranks over and if it'll be worth the trouble. So let me get you set down, let's get after it. Alright, in goes the new Super Start. Now, you got to get the vent connected, and there's also a cap that has to be installed on the other side of the vent. It comes with the new battery.
Twist around, get that hole down tight. Alright.
Alright, we got a fresh battery in her. We're just going to go over the fluids real quick. I haven't really taken a look at them. Let's see, engine oil. Now this engine bay is really clean. Engine oil, a little overfilled, but we're up. Better than being low. Power steering fluid, we're full. Looks like mud, so I don't need a flush, but we got fluid. Coolant. We got coolant, enough to make me happy, so that's good. Brake fluid. Dirty, but good. And I think that's all the crucials. Don't really need to worry about too much after that. Let's take a sniff of the fuel and see if this thing wants to turn. Give it the old no nonsense, know how fuel sniff. Shout out to Chris, love your channel, dude. Fuel smells pretty good. Doesn't smell too bad, so fuck it, let's run it. That cabin air filter is soaking wet. Got a leaky valve cover, that's for sure. Let's pull these ignition coil connectors off, and we're gonna DC these ignition coils. RIP. One down. Alrighty. Let's pop these puppies out. They all look original, I think. Oh, we found the oil leak. Check that out. Just straight dripping. Dripping with oil. Well, we found one oil leak. Definitely needs a valve cover and some ignition coils. Look at all that oil. Very common for these valve covers to leak down into the coils like that. We'll see if they still run, but we got to get all that oil sucked out, get those spark plugs out, check for compression. I just bought a fluid extractor, so time to test that puppy out. Looks like 2 and 3 are the only two that are leaking. Alright, just bought this Harbor Freight fluid extractor. See how this puppy works. The hose doesn't like to stay in, but alright, let's pull these sparkies out of here. Gotta love this snap-on magnetic wobble spark plug socket. She's pretty crispy. That oil came down after we pulled it, but Alright, we got some Marvel Mystery Oil. We're going to put a little splash down into each cylinder. Try to lubricate up the rings and the cylinder walls a little bit. Alright, don't want to do too much, but that should be good. Alright, so first things first, let's clean up these plugs real quick. Give them the old brake cleaner spit shine. Trying to not make any runs to the parts store just yet. Just want to get the majority of oil off of them. And we can do the same for these two saturated coils. Now this coil is probably going to misfire because you can see the boot got oil saturated. It started to split. Might still be able to keep a good contact with the plug, but it's definitely going to need some coils, or at least some coil boots. But I just want to get a little bit of the oil cleaned up. Rest of the other coils look good. I like to hit them with wet silicone just so they seat better. Alright, let's get these plugs back in, get the coils back in. Alright, I'm excited. Let's see if this thing will run now. She wants it. Well, you saw it too. She smokes like a pig, but she runs. She almost wants to stay idling. I'm thinking we'll probably need to pull the fuel, replace the spark plugs, replace the ignition coil boots at least. Valve cover gasket's just dumping, right? And so I got smoke from the exhaust manifold right now. She runs though, and she fires. It's got check engine light. I'm sure it's just misfire codes, who knows? Being a BMW, it's probably gonna need a lot more things than just that, but good news is we got a runner for the price that we did get it. So tinker around on it a little bit more today. Maybe we'll go run out and get some parts for it, call the local parts store. Look at that. She fired right up that time. Idle's a little choppy. It has throttle response. Lifters sound dry, they're ticking. She's smoking like a pig. Sorry, neighbors. Interesting. Upper rad hose has a little bit of pressure, but I don't think the crankcase is bleeding over into the cooling system. It's got coolant. Doesn't have chocolate milk in there. Can't show you on camera, but it doesn't look bad. It's clear. So I don't know. Let's see if the manual trans works. I'm gonna move it into the garage and we'll keep tinkering. So she's idling pretty good. Dumping smoke out the tailpipe on throttle, but it doesn't actually feel like it's misfiring. It's got a lifter tick, guaranteed. Sounds real rough as far as top end noise. However, I don't think it's actively misfiring, which is really interesting. I'm getting a lot of garbage out the tailpipe. Could be a lot of condensation that's built up in the exhaust system, burning off that Marvel Mystery Oil as well as all that motor oil that fell down into the cylinders. But overall, I'm quite impressed. As far as what else I want to do with it today, I'm not sure. I'm just glad we got a runner. I think the car does have some life left in it, so we'll see. The clutch works, forward and reverse both work. Control arm bushings feel like they're pretty shot out once I applied the brakes inside the garage there, but I'm gonna try to let it idle as long as I can. try to just burn out some of that garbage that's in the cylinders, and we'll go from there. Now another possibility is that this thing has bad rings or valve seats. Probably should have put something in there to lubricate the rings prior to turning it over, but it's alright. $500 car anyways. We're just having fun with it. So we'll see. It's idling pretty good right now. I've kept the RPMs up to try to get some oil up to those lifters. I think it has helped quite a bit. However, thing's still pushing a lot of smoke, especially on throttle. So potential rings, potential valve seals. I'm gonna keep letting her run, burn some old fuel out of it, and see if this oil issue, this smoke issue, gets any better. Lots of blue smoke. Well, she's a runner, so we answered our question. Now it's pumping blue smoke out the tailpipe, especially on throttle. So like I said, we could be looking at bad rings, bad valve seals. I think we might call it a day on it after this. I'm gonna give it some more idle time today and then continue to fire it up about every day or so and just check on the condition of it, see if the blue smoke is getting any better. Now even in the span of running it for 15 minutes, it's gotten better. The engine bay's smoking because that valve cover's leaking down onto the block and onto the exhaust manifold, so that's another secondary issue. The temperature gauge is holding steady, so that's rare for a BMW, especially one that's been sitting with a questionable cooling system. But so far so good on that. If you'd like to see anything specific on this car, let me know. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it, but if you are in the market for a pretty clean 150,000 mile E46 5-speed manual trans 2002 330i, maybe shoot me a comment. I might be interested in unloading it, maybe selling it as a parts car, maybe a non-op car. It probably still has some life in it, so we'll just have to see. Stay tuned, check out what happens on this car next. I'll be sure to post a video if I do anything on it. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed Day Off DIY. I'll see you on the next day off.